Have you ever done everything you can to create a safe, loving home for your autistic child, only to feel like their behavior is getting worse? It is one of the most confusing and honestly gut-wrenching experiences. Well, today we're going to get to the bottom of it and figure out what's really going on. It's usually the first question that pops into your head, right? You're watching them and you just can't help but wonder, are we going backward? Are they regressing? It feels like all that progress is just vanishing. And then, almost immediately, that thought leads to this one. Did I do something wrong? Did we make things worse? That is a heavy, heavy feeling, questioning if all your efforts have somehow backfired. This is the one that really gets to the heart of the confusion. You remember a time when they seemed to be handling things better, so why is it so much harder now? It just feels completely upside down. And hey, if any of these questions sound familiar, I promise you, you are so far from being alone in this. So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through this whole thing together. We'll start by validating that confusing experience. Then we'll uncover the hidden effort of what's called masking. We'll reframe this idea of regression into regulation and understand what nervous system decompression is. Then we'll get practical on creating felt safety, and we'll wrap up by seeing this whole tough stage for what it really is, a powerful sign of trust. Okay, so let's dive right into that paradox. You work so hard to make your home a sanctuary, a safe harbor, and then suddenly there are more meltdowns, more exhaustion. The emotional reactions are bigger. It's the total opposite of what you'd ever expect. But here's the big idea we're going to unpack today. What if this isn't things getting worse? What if what you're seeing isn't a step backward at all, but actually the very first sign that your child is starting a crucial journey, from just surviving to truly regulating? Now, to really get what's happening, we have to talk about something called masking, because this is the invisible and honestly unbelievably exhausting job your child might be doing every single day they're out in the world. So what is masking? At its core, it's a social survival strategy. It's the constant, often unconscious effort to hide or camouflage natural autistic traits, just to, fit in, to not get called out or corrected or misunderstood. And just think about the sheer amount of energy this takes, forcing eye contact when it's physically uncomfortable, mimicking everything your peers do, actively holding back the natural movements that soothe your body. It's like running a mental marathon with no finish line all day long. And that kind of effort, it inevitably leads to total exhaustion and burnout. Okay, so this brings us to the most important mindset shift of this entire explainer. We've got to challenge that word regressing and start thinking about what might really be going on. I want you to just sit with this for a second. Read it again. Loss of coping does not always mean loss of skills. Just because they can't manage things the way they used to doesn't mean the skill is gone. It means the energy they were using to perform that skill is gone. So this gives us two totally different ways to see the exact same behaviors. On the surface, what you see looks like regression, right? Loss of skills, going backward. But if we look underneath at what's really happening, we see that the burnout that was always there is finally showing itself. The stress is finally coming out instead of being bottled up. It's not a loss of skill. It's what happens when the battery's at 0% and there's no energy left to pretend. So why at home? Why is your house the place where everything seems to fall apart? Well, the answer is in a process called nervous system decompression. Think about it like this. All day at school, your child is holding a beach ball underwater. It takes constant effort. Their nervous system is just full of that stored up stress. And home is the first place they feel safe enough to let go. And what happens when you let go of that beach ball? It explodes out of the water. These behaviors aren't new problems. They're old stress finally being released. You see, all that energy spent masking has to come from somewhere. It basically robs the energy account for everything else. Things like managing routines, handling change, or starting homework. So when your child struggles with these things at home, it is not laziness or defiance. It's a sign of a completely empty tank. And this is where our response as parents is so incredibly crucial. It's a fork in the road. If we see the behavior as defiance, we just add more threat to a system that's already on fire. And guess what? The behavior gets bigger. But if we can see it as communication, as a desperate signal for help, we create the safety they need for real regulation to finally begin. Okay, so we get it, but what do we actually do? How do we help? This is all about learning how to create something called felt safety. And this distinction is so important. It's not about just saying you're safe. It's about creating an environment where their actual body, their nervous system, experiences safety and can finally power down from that high alert state. So how do we do it? Here are 4 game-changing strategies. First, lower the pressure. Let them recover after school before you hit them with homework and chores. Focus on connecting, not correcting. Second, make things predictable. Routines are calming for a stressed-out brain. Third, co-regulation. This is huge. Your calm presence can literally help calm their nervous system. You become their anchor. And finally, number 4, validation. Validation isn't about agreeing with a behavior. It's about acknowledging the feeling underneath it. Simple phrases like these can completely change the energy in the room. They send one clear message: I see you and I'm on your team. Okay, let's bring this all together, because it is so easy to feel like you're failing when things get this hard. But I really want to end by helping you see that this difficult stage, it might actually be the biggest sign of your success. If you're nodding your head while reading this list, listen to me. This is not a list of your failures. This is evidence. It's evidence that your child feels safe enough with you to finally let go, to take off the mask and to release all the stress they've been carrying. You are their safe place. So the next time you're in the thick of it, the next time things feel impossibly hard, I want you to hold on to this thought. This isn't a step back. This might just be the most beautiful step forward. It's the moment your child trusts you enough to finally, truly be themselves.